Welcome to Vohra Method. My name is Arvin Vohra, and I'm the founder of Vohra Method. We're an educational company that specializes in making sure our students have a disproportionate advantage over everybody else. Our students dominate private schools, magnet schools, boarding schools. The top schools in the world are dominated by Vohra Method students. And in this video series, I'm going to try to do my best to guide you through this era when education has completely gone crazy, when people don't know exactly what to do. I'm going to do my best to show you how to take this year and make this the best, most valuable, most important educational year of your entire life. But first, I'd like to talk to you today about hoarders. When you look at hoarders, they generally have some type of keepsake that they've had forever. It's just been part of their lives forever. It might have some attachment to the past, their grandfather, their great-grandfather, their dad, whatever. Now, if you're lucky, this keepsake, which is usually some just cheap piece of worthlessness, if you're lucky, this keepsake is small. But guess what? You're never that lucky. That keepsake, that thing they're hanging on to, is usually gigantic. It takes up half a room. And it's garbage. Now, here's the thing that happens. Eventually, whatever that thing it is, that thing that they never use, that thing that brings them no happiness, that thing that just gets in the way of other things that could be bringing them happiness, excellence, and greatness, it breaks. And what's incredible is at that moment, here's what they do. They keep on holding on to it. Before it was useless. Now it's useless and broken. And they cling to it. And when we all look at that, we say, there but for the grace of God go I. Except when it comes to our own sentimental attachments, we usually do the same thing. Schools, private, public, magnet, boarding schools, at Vohra Method, we've worked with students at every single type. And the one thing they all have in common is they're just bad. They waste time. They're inefficient. They get in the way of the kind of academic achievement a student could have if they weren't stuck there with pointless busy work, with propaganda jammed into every single class, with nonsense projects that have nothing to do with either the subject or the standardized test, whichever one's more important to you. They get in the way. They damage curiosity. They create this weird kind of incuriousness that's almost inhuman. They've always been bad. But this year, schools aren't just bad, they're also broken. The attempts you'll see at online education are laughable. Listen, online education is something we've been doing at Vohra Method for about 5 years. It takes a lot of work. You have to rethink everything. It takes years to develop the kind of online educational experience that's any good. And so far, most public schools, private schools, magnet schools, boarding schools have been doing basically none of that. They're broken. And yet, many of us are going to cling to that. Many people would rather go to a school that is now broken and useless than to forge their own path. I want to show you a quote from Henry David Thoreau. And this, he's talking about his view on government. He says, "For the people must have some complicated machinery or other, and hear its din to satisfy that idea of government which they have." I don't know if that's true about government. I suspect it probably is, but I know for certain that it's true of education. We have this idea of what education is supposed to look like. This nuisance that goes on in the classroom, the pointless pettiness and bullying, the stress, the time wasted on busy work. That's our idea of what a prerequisite for education is. But none of that's actually necessary to education. Education comes from a few things. The first is you have to master a subject. Generally, if you live in the real world, you then have to prove to somebody else you've mastered that subject. And that's about it. Now, there are many ways to master a subject. If you want a guide for college prep mastery, check out our free website at aphomeschool.com. If your idea of mastery is demonstrating its actual use in the actual world, right now is the time to start thinking about starting a business in various areas. Listen, the entire economy has shifted dramatically. It's wide open for new entrants right now. The old companies are reeling. This is your moment if you want to do that. When I was in high school, I got fives on 10 AP exams. What was my secret? It was that for 6 of those exams, I didn't take the school's AP class. I didn't let the school waste my time with its din. I didn't let the school waste my time with pointless oral reports, busy work assignments that led nowhere. Instead, I studied the subject, and I did some reasonable amount of preparation for the test itself. Today, Vohra method students take many, many more exams and dominate many more exams than I ever did. In fact, at Vohra method, we've recently introduced an AP integrated humanities program that's designed to train you simultaneously for all 8 English and history AP exams. Now, we're going to have a lot more of these videos talking about all different parts of education and show you how you can get more this year, much more this year, than the broken nonsense you're going to get at a private school, a public school, a magnet school, a boarding school, whatever. If you want to learn more about us, join us at vohramethod.com. To learn about the AP Homeschool Project, go to aphomeschool.com. My name is Arvin Vohra. I'm the founder of Vohra Method. Stay intense, guys.